Guys, I'm so pissed off. It hurts. I'm in such a bad mood. Basically, firstly, if you're on YouTube, you can see I have a towel in the window behind me. That is because Jesus Christ is resurrecting behind me right now. Did you guys know that? Did you guys know that? He's coming back. The heavens are opening. It is so fucking bright, is what I'm trying to say. It's ruining everything. So I've put my gym towel there. Secondly, I went to go film the pod in my regular spot. I'm 5 minutes in and my microphone stops working. Cool. Okay, we'll start again. That's fine. Then I'm 5 minutes into, a redo, and this mum decides to park her big, fat fucking Kluger right next to me. And mind you, it's the worst colourway of a car I've ever seen. She genuinely must have had it wrapped, because they cannot come in an awful colour like that. Anyway, she parks next to me. She has no intention of getting out of the car and doing something else. No, she just wants to sit in the car, wind down all her windows and blast her music. Now, normally, if someone parks next to me, it's fine, because they get out of the car and it's good, because then it blocks people's view. They can't see me in my car recording a podcast. But no, she sits there and she's staring at me awkwardly, and it's just shit. Anyway, so then I look up other car parks near me. I go to this other park, which is beautiful. But again, I must have missed the memo, because apparently there was a global gathering in East Melbourne. Ambassadors from every country have decided to meet at this park and sit in their cars and just look at each other. And it was so busy, I couldn't film there. So now I'm in a multi-story car park. I've been filming, and I realised that I've been screaming into the mic and it just sounds awful. So, yeah, hopefully we're all good now. Honestly, if the audio quality is crap, it's just because I'm yelling. Sorry. Anyway, moving on. I don't really know what I'm here to talk about today. Well, I do, but it's going to be quite the ramble. Firstly, we have to address... Guys, honestly, we have to address a poll that I posted the other day, which was, what kind of Coke do you drink, right? This was a very vulnerable question that required honesty, logic, and a correct opinion. There is only one right answer in this poll, and somehow 48% of you fucked it up. Anyway, let's take a look at the results. So I've said, which type of Coke do you drink? Regular Coke, Coke Zero, Diet Coke, or Vanilla Coke? Now, Vanilla Coke was a bit of a laugh, bit of a joke, okay? Because I need to stop swearing. Who drinks Vanilla Coke? Okay? Now, the obvious answer is Coke no sugar, Coke Zero, okay? Anyway, so 20% voted for regular Coke. Now, this is where I have a little bit of grace, because if you've grown up drinking regular Coke, I understand how Coke Zero may taste watered down. So there I have some lenience, but still, you're still wrong, but I'm accepting. Then we have 53% actually Coke Zero. Fabulous. You can all stay, continue listening to the podcast. Love you, whatever. It's the bare minimum, but you can stay anyway. Then we have 7% Diet Coke. This was another joke of an answer. How do I even explain this? You've got two options that are just better. Firstly, regular Coke. I'd much prefer you drink regular Coke over Diet Coke. Anyway, and then you've also got Coke Zero, which is superior to Diet Coke. So essentially, here's how I think of it. You've got Coke Zero, and then Diet Coke is almost as if you took a glass of water, so 90% water, and put 10% of Coke Zero in it. It's essentially so watered down. I've also never had a Diet Coke that's ever been carbonated enough, fizzy enough. It's always so flat, so watered down. Anyway, do you know what? Fuck it. I'm name dropping Ava, being one person that drinks Diet Coke. I'm meant to be seeing you tomorrow, but frankly, I've changed my mind. Because if we go out and I say, hi, can I get a Coke no sugar, please? And you go, yeah, I'll just get a Diet Coke. The embarrassment, they'll go, what? Coke no sugar? Diet Coke. Oh, okay. Right. It's embarrassing, okay? I don't want to be associated with you anymore. Then we have vanilla Coke, 20%. I don't even want to address these people. Oh, one of them's Eloise, my cousin. It's honestly expected. You're so weird and absurd. I actually love her. She's my best friend. But you're so weird and trying to be different so bad, right? Of course you would pick vanilla Coke. You just have to be alternative and shit. Anyway, moving on. What do I actually want to talk about today? Well, I actually wanted to talk about how I've been, like, rediscovering who I am, but I'm just not in that mood. I'll try. Okay, so I think the general consensus amongst my close friends at the moment is that in the last year, I've maybe lost my spark a little bit. Okay, and I do agree that at least creatively, I've definitely lost my spark. Like, I don't dress, creatively anymore. I don't make art. I don't take photos. My Instagram used to be so, like, curated and beautiful and creative, and now it's just so boring. Like, Instagram genuinely is my outlet. Do you guys remember when my whole Instagram, like my personal page, was black and white? Like, that's the kind of shit I did on purpose too. Like, that wasn't just, oh yeah, black and white's cool. That was like, I started doing that after 2020, when we all went through the phase of, like, oversaturating the shit out of every photo. Do you remember when everything was just so bright and, like, oversaturated, and then it had that filter with, like, the glowing little stars, whatever? I decided, like, to strip it all back and do black and white. Anyway, it had, like, an artistic intent, right? But anyway, I used to do shit like that, and I just haven't, and so I can understand where it's come from. And anyway, I had a moment this week where I was going through some boxes that I had put into storage, like, a year and a half ago. And I opened up this one box, and it was like, everything that's ever made me was in this box, like collecting dust in storage. What do I mean by that? Well, there was books about how to take photos of people and how to use a camera, and there was books about how Harry Potter was made, and there's a book about every Tim Burton film ever produced, and there was every copy of The Hunger Games, my favourite books. There was a book about epilepsy. I had epilepsy growing up, and how people with epilepsy, how their art looks different. Anyway, and what else was in here? Like, just things that have always made me who I am. It's like a year and a half ago, I literally, both metaphorically and physically, put it all away in a box and just let it rot. And I haven't touched it since. And it made me so emotional because I just remembered who I used to be. Like, and let's talk about losing my spark. There's no point getting sad about that. Everyone loses their spark at some point in their life, and it's fine because it ends up teaching you that, you need to come back to yourself and figure out who you are. And I think this is a great phase that I'm going through. But yeah, I guess, like, for a year and a half, I lived with someone, right? And I didn't have my own room. We shared a room. And I think having your own space when you're this young is so incredibly important. Because my room has always been my safe space, where I have, like, posters up and all my books displayed and my teddies and all of that sort of thing. And it's, like, girly, or it's not girly, whatever, however I'm feeling. All my clothes are in there and no one else's, and, it's not something I share. It's my safe space. And I'm so excited to have that again, starting in 4 days, because I'm moving. And yeah, I just can't wait to start displaying the things that make me, me, again. Did that even make sense? Another thing that I realized is my sense of style has gone completely out the window. In high school, I used to wear whatever the fuck I wanted. Seriously, I did not care what anyone thought. I don't know if you guys remember, I had this black and white men's button-up shirt that I wore to death. Okay, like, it wasn't girly at all. It didn't make me look pretty. Like, I dressed like a boy in high school. Everything I wore was way too big, and I also had this like grandma blouse that I found in an op shop, like lime green button up shirt that I just wore every day. And I used to wear like these wool sweaters with like crazy designs on them from vintage shops. And I just wore things because I thought they were cool. And I didn't care if they didn't fit me because they were too big or whatever. I just dressed how I wanted to dress. And then, for some reason, in the last year, I went through a phase of being like, no, you need to dress more like a girl. You need to get things that are more flattering. You can't keep buying things that are way too big, and you need to cull everything that is way too big for you. And I went through this, like, you just need staples phase. Like, I only wanted to wear plain black shirts, plain white shirts, blue jeans, clean shoes, like a nice thin belt. I was trying to be very business casual, which I guess I understand. I was trying to work in real estate at the time, but I actually have a really good example. I went to Uniqlo because I wanted to get those Airism t-shirts, just plain t-shirts, which firstly, they're not my style at all, but I just wanted basics, simple basics, right? And I went there, and my natural instinct is like, where's the extra, extra, extra large, okay? Because that's what I feel comfortable in. Anyway, I literally didn't grab a size over medium because I was just like, no, you're not allowed to do that anymore. You need to get things that fit. And anyway, I bought like 3 of these t-shirts in a medium, and I just never wore them because I felt so uncomfortable, like it was clinging to me. Like, they fit fine, whatever, like personal preference, but I prefer to be in big clothes, to feel like I'm swimming in stuff, like to feel like this hoodie, dude, this is far too big for me, but it's what I'm comfortable in. And anyway, for some reason I was just being so mean to myself about clothes, I would go into Kookeye. Like, firstly, Kookeye is not meant for bodies like mine. Like, I'm not like, I don't even want to talk about it, but like, if you have a chest going on, you're not going to fit into Kookeye. But I would just go in there every single time I was at the shops and like be mean to myself that I couldn't fit into this stuff. And mind you, Kookeye is not my style at all anyway. But I just was really trying to be feminine and girly. And I loved it. I loved, wearing dresses again and skirts. Like, I never really did that in my teen years so much. But yeah, I just was never comfortable. And anyway, now I've realised that my style is a little bit more grunge. I don't really want to say grunge. It's not like emo. But, shops that come to mind are like JD Sports, Culture Kings, blah, blah, blah. Those sort of clothes. And fashion inspo is like Billie Eilish. Okay, nothing ever fits that woman. Everything's far too big. But that's what I like and what makes me comfortable. And so today, I actually forced myself to wear an outfit that is more me. So if you're on YouTube, I'm wearing this hat, right? These are my favourite hats in the whole world. I have a navy blue one and I have this one. And I think they look so cool. When girls wear these, I just think that's so cool. And like, I don't know, it's inspired by Billie, obviously. Billie wears a lot of hats like this. But, I've had these hats for so long. And every time I put them on with an outfit, I would just look in the mirror and be like, you're just trying too hard. Like, it's just so performative, take it off. Put like something a bit more feminine on. Like, that's just you're not cool enough for that. Fuck it. Like, this is the shit I like. It's not performative if I actually like wearing it. Does that make sense? Like, I understand my personality is not like tough. You know what I mean? I guess it is. But I'm not like, I wouldn't say I'm like scary. Like, I don't know. So the music I listen to and like the way I dress can sometimes feel a little bit performative because I'm a bit like nice and girly. I don't know how to explain that. But again, it's not performative if I like it. My fashion inspo is Billie. So, of course I want to wear these hats. Anyway, I'm banging on about the hats, but I just want to start dressing like me again and buying clothes that make me feel comfortable and good. And I'm going to stop trying to buy all these like girly tops, like tight-fitting tops. I've never been one to wear a tight-fitting top. Even if I was super confident in my body, like, I am going to feel much better in a big oversized men's t-shirt with massive pants and cool shoes. Like, that is seriously just how I feel. Another thing is, I found my old art portfolio from when I was in year 10 and 11 and I was doing photography. And I'll have to make like a separate episode flicking through that and showing you guys, because genuinely, looking back, I was so creative, and like the quality of the photos I took, the ideas I came up with, I don't know how that came out of a 17-year-old's brain. Seriously, like the inspiration I took, the ideas I came up with, you know, like for, this is a really bad example, but in film photography, there's a thing called push processing, where basically you take photos at a really low exposure and then you completely overexpose it when you're developing the film, and it's called push processing. Basically, my idea was to do that in a digital form, so I would take all these photos at a really low exposure, and then in the editing process I would just absolutely blast the exposure and it would look so cool and contrasty. And anyway, like that's just one idea. The whole theme of my book was like expressionism, alternate realities, you know, displaying humans in a way that was like uncomfortable to look at, and I used texture and sound. And anyway, I was just really creative, and I wish that I was naturally inclined to do that sort of stuff now, like take photos and come up with those sort of concepts. I guess I have no excuse to do it now, but anyway, moving on. I found that was a very big part of me discovering who I was, and yeah. So those are the thoughts I've been having. I'm definitely going to try and lean a little bit more into my creative side as, you know, this year goes on. Moving on. Next, I want to talk about something that makes me a little bit angry. And this is the concept of over-romanticizing people. Now, I'm just going to tell you a little bit like of how I've done this in my life. I don't know if I necessarily have advice for you, but I just want to share this experience in case you relate, or, you know, to convince you not to do this in your life. But basically, between the ages of sort of 14 to 18, when I would meet people, I would really, really overhype them. I would put them on a giant pedestal and just really romanticize their potential. And I had so much empathy and understanding for people that I ignored who they truly were. Anyway, I saw a quote a while ago, or just a video a while ago, talking about how we need to take people exactly as they are, not for their potential, but for what they're actually doing. And I wish that I had have done this growing up. It's fine. Actually, I'm glad I went through this, because now it's changed the way I, you know, changed the meaning of all my relationships, but still. I just did not take people for how they were growing up. I took the idea of them. I mean, there's a handful of people that I'm just going to loosely reference, like you're not going to know who they are, whatever. But I really, you know, there's one person I met who I just thought I completely fell in love with. And I thought we had this incredible connection, and I thought I was the only one who understood that person, and that they were the only person who really understood me. And all of this stuff I could bang on forever. But then I look back, I maybe hung out with this person twice outside of school. I, you know, never really talked to them on the phone. Or, you know, it's not like anything ever happened with this person. Like, we never went on a date, we never dated. Nothing happened. If I were to recite, you know, just the pure facts, we barely knew each other. But it was just like all a fantasy in my head, and I really just put them, again, on a pedestal, whatever. And I did this with so many people. There's other people that, like, yeah, I just thought that they were so profound and that nobody else, you know, existed like them, and that they were the only person I was ever going to meet that had like the quality of being able to talk about their emotions. Because I think that's a very good point. The people that I would do this to were people that were able to open up about their emotions, because where I was from, like, you know, country town, people aren't having deep and meaningfuls all the time, right? So yeah, if I came across anyone that was like remotely emotionally intelligent, it was like, right, you're the love of my life, whether it's as a friend or like, you know, romantically, like, cool, so I'm in love with you. And this just completely destroyed me, because I would essentially make up relationships with people that didn't exist. There's another person who I really liked. Not really sure why at this point in time. Reflecting back, not sure what I saw. But I really just like thought we were besties, you know, that we were going to date one day, that we had so much in common, and this person never opened up about their emotions, ever. Like, we never had one emotional conversation, ever. So this is actually a standout. But, I thought that underneath all of the positivity, like, that they radiated, that there was something, like, deep and profound about them, that, they'd been through so much, so there must be so much, like, emotional, I don't know, chaos underneath them. Like, because they are a very positive person. Nothing really gets to them. In reality, they might just be a little bit boring. Sorry to say it. But, I just thought there was so much depth that I could unlock in them. And I couldn't, because it didn't exist. They didn't care about anything they'd been through in their lives. They never cried. They were never sad. Like, they just were boring. A bit of a loser. Okay? And, like, there was nothing I could do to make this person, like, this profound thing. It was all just an idea that, I could fix them. It was like taking on people as, well, maybe this is a standout. This one person, I just felt like I could take them on as a project and make them exactly what I wanted. When the reality is, I hung out with this person maybe twice, and, like, it was all very surface level. And I didn't talk to this person for probably like 2 years, and then we rekindled. And I looked at this person and I was just like, wow, we just don't get along, and that's okay. Like, you're actually just not, like, nowadays, because I don't put people on a pedestal and I don't romanticize ideas of people, I just looked at this person for what they were, and I was just like, cool, like, we'd never really be friends, and that's okay. I don't really have that experience often, like, where I look at people and I'm just like, oh, you're not for me. Like, I really try to see the good in people. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm really empathetic, and whatever, but I'm just sick of doing that. If you're not showing up for me as a friend, if you're not showing that you're interested in me, or whatever, like, fuck off. Honestly, like, now this is getting into friendship territory, where it's like, I'm sick of thinking that one day you'll be a good friend, or, when times get really hard, then you'll show up. Like, what's an example? Well, actually, one time I had this friend. This was like last year, and we were actually very, very close. Like, I think we had a beautiful bond, and we just got each other from the get-go, and we hung out heaps. But then came this time where I really, really needed them. Like, I actually needed them to come to me and help me. I needed help. And they didn't. Not because they couldn't, not because they were at work or they were doing something or they weren't close by, because they couldn't be bothered. And they admitted it. Yeah, I'm 5 minutes away, but I just can't be bothered. And I realized, I think this was breaking point for me, honestly, that, like, I'm so sick of friends not thinking, like, people aren't willing to inconvenience themselves for other people anymore. Like, I'm a very ride or die friend. If I love you, you'll know about it. I would do anything for the people I love. It doesn't matter what time of the night it is. It doesn't matter if I've got work in 2 minutes. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm across the other side of the world. I will come and help you. I will do anything. I would spend, and I have spent, the last bit of money I have to help you. That's how much I care about people. And when you meet me, I'm very open and honest and vulnerable, and you don't have to earn my trust. Like, it's not like I have my walls up, because I want people to feel like they can be themselves around me, and like they've met a best friend, someone, that would do anything for them. And because I know that I'm capable, and very easily capable of being this way, I have this standard for other people. I'm not going to put up with shit. Again, I've talked about this in an episode before, I'd rather have no one than people that are just half-ass and aren't going to show up when I need you. I would much rather be alone, because at least I can trust that I'll be there for myself every time, Anyway, if you're a listener, or you're somebody I know, or we're super close, whatever it is, please just know, if you ever called me in the middle of the night needing somebody, I would answer. I am always here for any of you. I know that some of you are people that, some of you listening are people that I haven't properly seen in a very long time. I had a FaceTime call with someone today that I genuinely don't think I've seen in probably 4 years. And if you're that person, you should know I'll always be here for you. Like, if you're supporting me, like, and reaching out, like, you've got my trust, you know what I mean? I've had so many people that I haven't talked to in so long, like, come back because they see me posting and blah, blah, blah. Like, I'll always be your friend. I'll always be here for you, okay? Yeah, I just hope people know that about me. Is, like I said before, I'm not tough and I'm not scary. Like, I do genuinely do stuff like this because I care about people. Like, my whole career is dedicated to people as well. I'm a nurse. Like, I just care a lot. But again, I'm not going to put up with shit from people anymore and overhype it. Like, yeah, let's get back into that a little bit. Back into romanticising people, and specifically people that we want to be in romantic relationships with. When you put someone on a pedestal and you don't assess them exactly as they are for what they're doing, so, taking you on dates or, asking to hang out, you're looking for those things. When you just overhype them from the beginning, you put up with so much shit that is unacceptable from someone that you're romantically interested in. And I'm not here to give you advice. So, examples. Basically, when I was 18, we had formal, and I went to go dress shopping, and I brought someone with me. And I tried on this dress in this sort of cheaper shop, because obviously I was on a budget. And I put it on, and I felt beautiful. I felt like it was flattering, gorgeous, and it was the dress I ended up wearing. Anyway, I walked out, and I said, what do you think of this dress? And they said, oh, it's pretty good. I said, oh, okay, what do you rate it? Oh, like a 7 out of 10? Okay. So then I'm like, all right, well, you pick a dress. Like, what do you think looks like a 10 out of 10? And they said, oh, I just don't think you're going to find anything like that in here. Like, this is as good as it's going to get. Just get that one. Okay. So, I get this dress, whatever. Bit of a rude comment. But the feeling of being at formal that night, I saw this person that night. The feeling of knowing that they were looking at me then and thinking that my dress was like a 7 out of 10 and I looked pretty good. That was the most beautiful I'd ever felt in my whole life. And the person that I was like dedicating my entire existence to didn't even think I looked good. Like, that's the kind, and I continued to know this person for so long after that. It's just diabolical. Anyway, another example is I was really close with someone and we sort of liked each other a little bit, whatever. It was a bit of a weird dynamic. And every so often, like every 6 months, I would get blocked for like months at a time, because they would get a girlfriend. And then I'd get a message like, a couple of months later saying, oh, I'm so sorry, like my girlfriend blocked you on my phone, like I'm back and blah, blah, blah. And then I would just continue being friends with them on and off, just waiting to get blocked and them to come back. I just dealt with that. Like, and I'd get so excited when they came back and, I'd be like, it felt like I was home, like they were coming back to me, like, because, I spoke to someone today who explained a similar thing. They were like, yeah, I just felt like it was so special because they kept coming back to me. They should never leave. They should never block you. They should never stop talking to you because when you didn't do anything wrong, you know what I mean? They're just not interested in you. And if you're not interested in someone, be strong enough to just leave and not come back. Don't fuck with people's feelings. If you know that you can't be with someone and you don't like them as much as they like you, whatever, leave and leave them alone. Don't chase their validation because you enjoy being liked by someone. Just leave, okay? Honestly. Anyway, enough examples. I don't feel like I really got into it deep enough because it's hard to like give examples because obviously like people know me that are listening to this. You do not know anyone I just spoke about. But anyway, but yeah, my point is that putting people on pedestals just absolutely destroyed me as a teenager, and you will get to a point, if this is something you do, you'll get to a point where you will just be like, enough. Oh, people are just treating me like shit, and I'm sick of putting up with it. And get to that point now, because you actually don't have to just like keep getting hurt. You can just decide, no, I'm sick of you. And I'm going to cut you off because you just treat me like shit. And you know what? The funny thing is, you'll do that. Like, I've done that. I've been like, you suck. You treat me like shit and I'm leaving. And they'll be like, what? Well, we're best friends, but I really like you. And they'll try and make it up to you because they like the feeling of being loved. But you have to remember the bad times. This sounds bad, but, you know, sometimes when we end a friendship or end a relationship, our mind is just replaying all the good times. It isn't just as important to remember all the shit times too. All the times that they didn't show up when you needed them, or, you know, they said something mean, or, you know, whatever it is, it's just as important to remember that because that is the reality, okay? We have to address reality. Sure, they got you flowers once, but they also, like, called your mum ugly. I don't know, like, they invited you to go for a walk that one time, but also they, like, told you your formal dress was ugly. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to lay out all the facts objectively, not subjectively, objectively, and assess, is this person treating me well? Is it worth keeping them in my life? Do they give as much as I give? Yeah, I think that's where I'm going to wrap it up. I really need to get home. So, I love you guys. Hopefully, like, that was good. Again, I get to the end of the episode and I'm like, what did I even say? Wait, did I even make any sense? Whatever. Anyway. See ya. I'm out. Bye.